What's happening, guys? Cap over here, and welcome to week 4 of the NPCC. As today we're taking on one of the head honchos of the NPCC and one of the people who make this league possible. We're taking on JaCubAsAlways, coach of the Green Bay Pikachu. So I'm sure you guys have heard of him, but if you haven't, be sure to look in the description down below. Click on the link and I'll redirect you to his side of the battle, and subscribe to him too and like all his stuff. Give it a thumbs up. He's in quite a decent amount of leagues and he's a fantastic battler. His record does not indicate his skill level because he's taken on, I think, out of the 4 battles, including myself, all division leaders in each division. So he's taken on the 3-0 Burger King Layers, the 3-0 Bullet Punch Club, and then 2-1 New London Zork. So by no means this is going to be a easy game. This is going to be a tough game because he wants to win. He got his very first win last week while we picked up our very first loss the past week. So we're both pretty determined to keep, to go on winning ways, I guess. Winning ways for the West, I guess. That's bad. That's bad. But as you can tell from the team preview, we see no Nidoqueen, which is something that I was really hoping to not see. Nidoqueen, Arcanine, no Alone Persian, which is fantastic for me, but some of the big highlights over here is Zapdos. Zapdos was something I was not really that concerned about, but he did bring in Delamis, Manaphy, and the Cobalion. Cobalion was something I was a bit worried about because I wasn't sure if Hitmontop could really take it on. If it was a Swords Dance variant, then I would have some trouble with it, and depending on what sort of mons I had left over, it would really depend on what's going on. But I do have things like Choice Scarf, Rotom Heat to take it on, and with no Nidoqueen in the squad, that means Choice Scarf Rotom can easily Volt Switch and get on out of there, go for the Overheat, get some damage off. So it's always safe to go into Rotom Heat whenever it does come in, and it does fairly well against this team too. So I was pretty happy about that. In terms of our late game sweepers, we have Nihilego and the Garchomp with the Z Sandstorm. Those are pretty much my late game sweepers, while we have mons that tank hits like Hitmontop, Snorlax. Pretty much those are the mons that really do take on hits. Alone Ninetales is in there to just click Blizzard, Moonblast, Freeze Dry, really put on that pressure for things like Manaphy. Kyurem doesn't really appreciate it, Delamis doesn't appreciate it, Zapdos doesn't appreciate it, and I'm pretty sure Exceligor does not appreciate it. So it does fairly well in this matchup in terms of it can hit everything on the squad for a decent amount of damage. And this team was built by myself and Local Ghoul, so if you want to check out his channel too, I'll leave it in the description down below. Really fantastic battler, and thank you once again, Local Ghoul, for always helping me out in these NPCC matches. I always hit him last minute and he's like, yeah, I can help you out. So thank you so much, man, for doing that. I really do appreciate it. But let's get this battle on its way. Enough of me jibber-jabbing about my matchups and whatnot and saying thank yous to everyone. As you guys can tell, he does have Exceligor, and I'm like, alright, this thing is definitely lead. It's definitely going to be a lead for him, either that or Cobalion, and Rotom is my best matchup for that. So I'm just going to lead off with Rotom because it is Choice Scarf. I can go for Overheat if it's Cobalion, or if it's Exceligor, I'm just going for Volt Switch because there's no Nidoqueen. I can easily switch on out, get momentum on my side. It'll be a fantastic turn 1, and that's all I want right now, a good turn 1. So the Flash is coming out. He is pretty fast. That is a fast mon right there. Luckily for me, I do outspeed this thing, so going for the Volt Switch is the safest play. He ends up switching out, and I'm like, alright, turn 1. That's all I wanted. A really good turn 1, and that worked out for me. So I'm just gonna Volt Switch on out of there, and what do you know? I get a crit over here. Spoiler alerts, there's the crit. That is fantastic for me because it's just extra chip damage, and it's a good, little settles the nerves, I guess. It settles the nerves. I can bring Hot and Fluffy, and I'm just going for a return at this point. If Delamis comes out, that is fine. I got mons to take it on. If I get a poison, then Snorlax can come in, set up for free, just right into space, and really apply pressure there. Zapdos is going to come in, and it is a Rocky Helmet variant. Doesn't take the return well, but Rocky Helmet is rather interesting. So at this point, I'm like, alright, I think I can win this battle. If it's Zapdos versus Snorlax, even if I get poison, I can just go for rest. I'm just the standard Curselax over here, so no point of going for anything else. And, after +1 attack of this, or just after 1 curse, we're going to be looking pretty hot at that point. Hot and Fluffy's looking pretty hot with that curse. Dang, man, dang. At this point, return is going to be doing a lot of damage. It's going to be doing some nice damage, something that I really want. But this Zapdos ends up having Metal Sound, and I'm like, wait, what? What does Metal Sound do? And what do you know, it lowers my special defense by 2. So you learn something new every day. Unfortunately, it's just during the battle that's in a league match, so that's pretty cool of him to bring that. I wasn't expecting that at all, but that return is doing a lot of damage, so that's damage I'll easily take. At this point, it doesn't bring me any advantage to KO the Zapdos with Snorlax if Manaphy comes in. Manaphy's going to be setting up all over me, and it's not going to be a good time, so I figured, you know what, let's just bring in Apple. And I can just go for Volt Switch at this point because, once again, no ground type is a safe play to make, and I could potentially get a KO on his, depending on his investments. So, unfortunately, I miss out on the KO, but I know he's not going to go for Discharge or Hidden Power Ice. He's probably just going to go for Roost or something like that. And he ends up going for that. At this point, I just want to see if he does have Hidden Power Ice. So I can just go right into my lone Ninetales. No way is he clicking Discharge. If he clicks Hidden Power Ice, then like Capitina just simply stays in and really does a lot of nice stuff for me. And we get our Snow Warning going on, which is always good. But he ends up switching out, as you can tell over here, and goes right into his Clinton Dix, which is his Delamis. And at this point, I'm like, oh, this is a good matchup. And this works out really, really well for me because I see that he has leftovers. So he doesn't have the Yashi Berry. He is not Assault Vested. And that makes my decision a lot more easier. I'm just clicking Blizzard. If he'd gone into Cobalion, that's totally fine by me. But I end up taking Delamis, which is fantastic for me. Having Delamis gone is, you know, it allows Snorlax to set up for free on a lot of things, and return can do a lot of damage. So I was hoping that he might have just gone into Manaphy. I can just go for a Freeze Dart, get some free damage off. If he's Tail Glow, then, you know, that's pretty much a easy W for me at that point, because I can just take out Manaphy. That's an easy KO for Ninetales, but he ends up being Calm Mind, and that's pretty scary because I'm like, oh dang, does this thing actually beat me? Does Snorlax have enough investments to sort of take the hit? So a lot of things were going through my mind, and I was like, yeah, I ran the calculations. I was in a safe zone over there, so I can just go for another Freeze Dry. I can see what sort of moves he has. I think it was a roll for this, but he ends up going for Rest. If it wasn't a roll, then I think I might have gotten a high roll at that point. But anywho, he ends up going for Rest, and I'm like, alright, Rest, Calm Mind, depending on what's his final moves, because now he can't be Rain Dance, Sleep Talk, because that doesn't make sense, or he can't be, or he's just probably Rain Dance just because of hydration. So at that point, I'm like, alright, cool, that works out pretty good. Most likely he is Rain Dance, and he ends up switching out over there. So I'm like, alright, that's cool, that's totally fine by me. This is another matchup that I do not mind. This is something I'll gladly exchange, because I'm thick fat. I can take any Ice Beam relatively well. Draco Meteor, I can still take it relatively well, and I don't think he would want to collect Draco Meteor. So at this point, I can just simply go for a Curse or a Return, still bring up a lot of momentum on my side. And Snorlax is just becoming one of those mons that's really hard for him to beat. After one Curse, I'm looking pretty good. I'm looking pretty hot. I'm looking pretty fluffy. It's just looking pretty grim for Jacob. So at this point, I was like, alright, Return did a lot of damage last time. How much is it at? I don't know if I could take it down. So I end up going for a Return at this point. He ends up going just straight up for Metal Sound, which is frightening because that keeps on happening. And I don't want a Manaphy to come in on Snorlax when it's at -2. So luckily I miss out on the KO, which is a weird sentence because, you know, usually you want to get the KO. But in this case I was like, no, not today. That allows Manaphy to come in. I have to make 2 potential switches and really play around that. So I'm just going to bring in La Capitina. I figured, you know what, this thing's just going to go for Roost. It's sort of the middle ground play. It's sort of the more aggressive play because I want to get the KO. As he ends up going for the Discharge, and this does a lot of damage because of the crit plus the para, which is not good for me. And I do apologize if you hear Houdini in the background. He's just, every time he sees a bird, he's just excited. But like I said before, Ninetales was the middle ground play for me because it allowed me to set up Hail, which would take down Zapdos at that range. Or if you'd gone for Roost, then I can just simply fire up a Moonblast. But he makes an aggressive double over here, which is fantastic on his part, because there's no way am I staying on a Cabalion going for Moonblast or anything like that. I'm just going right into my Hitmontop, and I'm like, this is not good. Hitmontop versus Manaphy is something I don't want to happen, so I have to switch out because I don't want him to keep on like wasting these sleep turns away. And I would, if my only really decent attack is close combat, so I'm not staying in. This is not a good situation for me. I just have to go right into Hot and Fluffy, and at this point I'm like, alright, I want to pop that balloon. If he brings out Cabalion, then I pop it. Garchomp is looking pretty good at that point, and pretty much Garchomp will set up on Manaphy that is asleep, and a Houdini's really chatty today. Houdini, it's late and Houdini gets like that, so it happens. I sincerely apologize. The burp in the background is just taking over this recording. So at this point I'm like, alright, cool. I can pop this balloon, that's all I want. And what do you know, we just popped we popped poor Cabalion's balloon, just landing on it with a body slam. That is just so mean, Snorlax. That's so mean. Just, you know, Cabalion's out there trying to have a good time. You come in and you're just like, nah, not today. No balloon for you. You're gonna get hit by earthquakes. Just slap it out of his hands or his hooves or his horn. I imagine Cabalion carried on his horn. But anywho, that's Snorlax just slapping it out. At this point, I'm like, alright, I guess I gotta sack off something. And I decide, you know what, Ninetales can get sacked off because, you know, it doesn't really do much. But he ends up sending rocks, and I'm like, oh boy, that's relatively interesting. So I switch out to Dance, sort of make a weird play on my part, and I'm like, I don't want this again. This is not something that I want. It's not good for me because, you know, it sort of sucks. So at this point I'm like, alright, let's get rid of rocks. Rocks are good. Rocks are gone. Good as good. And this does absolutely nothing. Like, this rapid spin is just, hello, what's damage? Can you call 911 because nothing happened? Or even, yeah, felt like I was robbed of damage. That was bad. So I'm just gonna switch on out of there. Get on out of there, bring out my Hot and Fluffy. And I know that if he keeps on switching into Cabalion to take the hit, then I'm in a pretty good situation. Or if he wants to play this game of him going for Calm Mind and me going for Curse, I think I can win that match. Because I know I'm rest sleep talk, even if he gets a +4 or something, I'm still looking pretty good. And if he's like Surf or Hydro Pump or something like that, then I'm fine. If he's Scald, that's a bit scary because he could potentially get the burn, and that really could shift the tides in his favor. So I'm like, alright, let's get it going on. Every time I see this challenge of one Mon setting up and I have something that can potentially set up on his Mon, I'm like, alright, let's go. Let's go, guys. It's happening, boys. It's happening. Let's fucking go, man. So he's just gonna keep on going for the Calm Mind. I ran some calculations and I was like, you know what, if I get a plus, I think it was +2 or 3, because right now I'm at +2. Yeah, at +3, I was like, alright, at +3, I'm gonna be doing 50%, so even if he's Rain Dance, Rest, Hydration, Manaphy, that's totally fine. If I bring it to 50%, Garchomp can come in, simply take it out. I know he's not Z-Rain, so I'm in a good position after this. Even if he's at +6, I'm totally fine with what's going to happen at this point. Thankfully, he doesn't get a burn in. That actually does a lot of damage. That is frightening damage. But I also do a lot of damage, and I'm like, alright, cool. That actually allows Garchomp to come in and really put a lot of pressure on it. And even with the burn at this point, I'm like, it's not going to do enough. So at this point, Cabalion actually Cabalion doesn't take the damage well. Even at +2? I think I'm at +2 or 3, one of the two. I should be paying attention to the battle. But at this point I'm like, cool, return's gonna happen, and we get a crit, which is sort of sucky because I think it was still a roll on the return, but the crit just guaranteed it, and it was a bit unfortunate because I was starting to get a bit panicky at that point. I was like, oh boy, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Is he gonna sweep me with Manaphy? But nope, not gonna happen today. Not happening today. So I'm just gonna send out Hitmontop, even with a +2, 3 Snorlax, I don't want it to be taking close combats, but he ends up going for a Swords Dance, and I'm like, oh dang, this man is real. That is frightening. I didn't believe he would set up on Snorlax like that. I thought he would just go for the close combat and do something like that, so I was pretty frightened at this point, but he brings out the Flash, we see it again, and I'm like, that is pretty defensive. And what do you know, we see some damage on our part. He is Rocky Helmet Exceligor, so I'm like, that's interesting. It's a bit odd, but that's cool. So once again, I decided, you know what, let's just go right into Rotom. If he U-turns, then that's fine. If he goes for Bug Buzz or if he goes for anything else, still fine. I can just go for a Volt Switch. Allows me to really put some pressure on. And then I just decided to Volt Switch because I figured he's not going to stay in. And he would just want to switch out, but he ends up staying in. So this allows me to go into Dance easily. And I can potentially lower its attack some more. If it's a especially offensive one, then you know that sucks, but it is what it is. But he ends up having Recover, so he's I believe he's Recover, Spikes, that's all I've seen right now. And I'm like, this is fine, I can just go for a Toxic at this point, sort of let it go down to its own damage, and I can just poison it, because I was like, alright, let's keep on hitting this thing, let's see what it does. Spoiler alerts, don't really appreciate Rocky Helmet damage. Him on top does not appreciate that. At that point I was like, oh, he has knockoff, that sucks. Knocked off my berry, sort of regretting not eating that Chesto right away, making the safe plays, but hey, what can you do at this point? What can you do? Pretty much it comes down to me just toxicking him and him just going for the spikes. I figured, you know what? Spikes don't really do a lot to my team. This thing doesn't really do a lot, so I've seen Spikes, I've seen Knock Off, and I've seen Recover, so I don't think it has Hidden Power Ice. If it does, then GG, man, you deserve that one because you pulled a fast one over my head. But yeah, I wasn't sure what he was really going for. At this point I figured, you know what, I could set up the Z Sandstorm, or I could just simply KO this thing with Earthquake, potentially KO it with Earthquake. I decided ultimately, you know what, let's save this thing for in the back. I don't know what the Kyurem is exactly right now. I haven't seen any attacks on it, so my best bet wasn't to lose this thing relatively easy. Plus, I needed a bit more damage on Kyurem over here. So him bringing this Kyurem in like that, I was like, alright, this thing is definitely Choice Scarf. So thankfully I didn't go for the Z Sandstorm at that point. Mostly because Rock or Stone Edge wasn't a guaranteed KO. Outrage, however, was, so I was just playing a bit precautious in terms of, you know, Kyurem B doing its thing right now. And he ends up going for the Ice Beam. I can easily sack off my Capitina. There was no point in me going into my Snorlax. Even if I had made that prediction, if he'd gone for Draco Meteor or something like that, then that still would have been bad. So I did some calculation. I'm like, Nihilego actually is pretty good for this battle. It does some stuff. This thing's not named I actually named this mon Peanut Butter and Jelly all the times, but it always comes out as Nihilego. This is PB&J. PB and Jelly time. And I started making a prediction over there. I ended up going for Psychic because I was like, you know, he's just gonna switch into Cobalion. He's totally gonna do that. He is totally gonna do that. And this time he ends up switching into his Cobalion, and I'm like, you got me here, man, you got me here, GG's. That's pretty good of him. But at this point I know this thing's Swords Dance, so I'm not gonna let it set up all over my face. I know I'm not faster than this mon, and my best move is just to go for Psychic. Even if he does go for the Iron Head and KOs me at this point, that's fine. I can bring out Garchomp. Garchomp can easily KO the mons, and I can actually go for my Z Sandstorm at this point. So he ends up staying in. I miss out on the KO, and I'm like, oh dang, that's one. I missed it. But Ninetales gets the KO beyond the grave, which is cool, I guess. Beyond the grave KO right over there. That's not bad. And the hail will actually take it down, so that's fantastic for me. And Nihilego can actually finish this battle because I knew I outspeed this mon, so there wasn't anything I had to be scared of with Kyurem B being Choice Scarf, just all in my head. And we'll pick up our third victory of the season, putting us at 3-1. So GG to Jacob as always. Once again, check out his side of the battle in the description down below. And that's pretty cool. We actually got another victory over here. I'm pretty excited about that because I was really nervous going into this battle. As always, I'm always nervous going into NPCC battles. But next week, I actually know who I'm playing, which is surprising because usually I take it week by week. Next week, we're not taking on King Bub, coach of the Munchlaxer United. I was really looking forward to that battle because the last time we battled, he demolished me. But this time we're going to be going against Bill Standish, William Standish, the Bill of all Bills, Top Bill, Basic Bill, Bullet Bill, something like that. But we're going to be going against the Island Haunch Crows, our old rival from the RBL, and the Red, and pretty much just our buddy all around. Celebrate our 1 year of friendship by battling in the NPCC, and it's going to be a pretty cool battle to watch for sure. Bill brings in some interesting things. It's going to be some memes, and there's probably going to be some freeze hacks, Bill. There's probably going to be some freeze hacks, so you better bring those ice heels because, you know, it's going to get a bit chilly, it's going to get a bit frozen. Winter comes in spring, I guess. It sort of happens. Winter is coming. Winter's coming. Winter's coming, Bill. Winter is coming. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this battle. If you guys have been a long time Captain Crump subscriber, you know that I'm really bad at knowing who's our next week game. So me knowing this is a pat on the back. It's some improvements. So be sure to stay hyped for that. Be sure to smash the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the Toronto SwaBlu Jays, be sure to become a fan. We do appreciate the support and thank you so much for it. As I'm gonna get going, so thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna get going. Peace out, yo.